Why your life is tough. The truth about growth and success. Have you ever wondered why life feels so tough? Why it seems like you face one challenge after another while others seem to have it easier? What if I told you that the struggles you face are actually shaping you into the strongest version of yourself? Too often, we view obstacles as roadblocks, but what if they were actually stepping stones? Today, I'll share a powerful story about a young boy named Leo, who learned an unforgettable lesson from his grandfather. Along the way, I'll also include real-life examples and insights to help you understand why struggles are not your enemy but your greatest ally. By the end of this video, you'll have a completely different perspective on challenges, hardships, and what it really takes to succeed in life. Let's dive in. Part 1, Leo's lesson: the two plants. During his summer vacation, Leo visited his grandfather, as he did every year. They spent their days talking, playing, and sharing stories. One afternoon, Leo asked, "Grandpa, how can I become a successful man?" Instead of answering directly, his grandfather smiled and said, "Come with me." He took Leo to a small nursery and bought two identical plants. They returned home, and the grandfather planted one inside a pot, safely placed indoors, while the other was planted outside, exposed to the sun, wind, and storms. Curious, Leo asked, "Which plant will grow better?" Leo thought for a moment and said, "The one inside the house. It's safe from storms, animals, and extreme weather." His grandfather smiled but said nothing. "Let's see what happens in the future," he replied. Leo left at the end of summer, not giving the plants much thought. For years later, he returned and asked his grandfather again, "Now will you tell me how to be successful?" His grandfather nodded. "First, let's check on our plants." Leo followed him outside. To his surprise, the plant inside the house had grown, but it remained small and fragile. Meanwhile, the plant outside had turned into a massive tree, its branches spreading far and wide, offering shade to travelers and standing firm despite the weather. Leo was stunned. How is this possible? The outdoor plant faced so many challenges. His grandfather smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. That's exactly why it grew stronger. Part 2, the power of struggles: why challenges make you stronger. Leo's grandfather explained. The plant inside was protected. It never had to fight for space, endure strong winds, or push its roots deep into the soil. It stayed weak. But the plant outside had to struggle. Every storm forced it to grow deeper roots. Every challenge made it stronger. That is why it became a mighty tree. He looked at Leo and said, "Son, life works the same way. If you always choose comfort, you'll never grow strong. But if you face challenges head-on, you will build the resilience to achieve anything." At that moment, Leo understood. The obstacles we fear are actually the very things that prepare us for greatness. Part 3, real-life examples: why the strongest people faced the toughest challenges. Example 1, Thomas Edison failing 10,000 times. Imagine failing 10,000 times before achieving success. That's what happened to Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Most people give up after a few failures. But those who push through become unstoppable. Example 2, Oprah Winfrey rejected and fired. Before becoming one of the most successful talk show hosts in history, Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Her boss told her she was unfit for television. Instead of giving up, she used that failure as fuel, proving everyone wrong. Today, she's one of the most influential women in the world. Example 3, a personal story. I once knew a man who had lost everything: his job, his money, and even his confidence. He struggled for years, working tirelessly to rebuild his life. One day, he told me, "If I hadn't gone through that storm, I would have never discovered how strong I truly am." And today, he owns a successful business and helps others find their paths. This is proof that the storms in life are not meant to break you but to build you. Part 4: How to use challenges to your advantage. Now that we know challenges are necessary for growth, how can you turn them into your greatest advantage? 1. Reframe your mindset. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Every challenge has a lesson, find it. 2. Build mental toughness. Like a muscle, your mind grows stronger through resistance. When faced with difficulties, embrace them, don't run from them. 3. Take action, even when it's hard. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. If something feels uncomfortable but necessary, do it anyway. Part 5: Leo's transformation, applying the lesson to life. Leo took his grandfather's lesson to heart. Instead of avoiding difficult situations, he faced them head-on. He studied harder, challenged himself to speak up, and stepped outside his comfort zone. Slowly, he became stronger, more confident, and more capable. Years later, when people asked him about his success, he always smiled and said, "If you always choose comfort, you will never grow. But if you embrace challenges, you will become unbreakable." Part 6: The big takeaway, how you can change your life today. Here's the truth. Challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities. Struggles don't weaken you, they strengthen you. Success is not about avoiding difficulty, it's about growing through it. So now, let me ask you, what is one challenge in your life right now that you can embrace instead of fear? Comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this message inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because in the end, life isn't about avoiding storms, it's about learning how to dance in the rain.